Alright, hello and welcome to the WaltInPA YouTube channel. It is 6:45 on a beautiful, what is today? Tuesday. Sorry, I feel like I'm channeling my inner itchy boots. So, I've been watching quite a bit of her stuff. I have a desk job that requires long stretches in front of a computer. So what I wind up doing is finding something of interest, I'll put it on, and I'll just glance over at it every couple of minutes as I work. And because of that, I've been able to get through, I don't know, I think about 40 episodes of her world travels. It's been really interesting. I like it quite a bit. And I figured the Itchy Boots-esque intro was better than Shade Tree Surgeon's "What's up, weirdos?" Because simply I don't do it justice. So, the topic of today's motovlog is going to be a little bit of a saga. So, gather around, boys and girls. I have a story to tell you. Unfortunately, it's not a very active, action-packed story with wizards and dragons and whatnot. It's pretty bland, but it's interesting nonetheless because it shows really good customer service. So, a couple of months ago, I decided I wanted to get back on a motorcycle, and at the time, it had been at least 10 years since I had ridden, and I knew that getting back in meant that a lot of things are going to be different. Rider education was going to be different. There was going to be a lot of progress made there, and motorcycle gear in general was going to be much different than what I was used to, or what I was purchasing back when I was riding. So one of the first things I wanted to do was take a motorcycle safety course through the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. They offer them free to Pennsylvania residents, and they're a great way to get acclimated to motorcycles if you've been away for a while, or a great way to get you educated if you've never ridden before. And the nice part is they provide you with the motorcycle to learn on. And that was going to be my plan. Unfortunately, COVID-19 had other plans, and the state wound up shutting down virtually everything, and it has been shut down for a couple of months now. So when the state began closing, all of the Department of Transportation stuff closed along with it, including the contracts that the state had with Lee Parks from Total Control Training. With no course in sight, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do to get reacclimated to motorcycles. So I did the next best thing. I decided to purchase a couple of motorcycle books. I bought Road to Mastery by Greg Winbar, I believe his last name is. Basically, it's Moto-Jitsu from YouTube, which talks about basically motorcycle mindset and some of the things that you need to understand getting involved in riding a bike. The second book I purchased was Motorcycle Information Safety Systems by Michael Wesley. And I actually had a chance to meet Mike, and he gave me some private one-on-one training, which was invaluable. Unfortunately, our training session was cut short by a massive storm that rolled through the area. It was quite frightening riding home from that training session, watching trash cans and stuff blow across the road. Michael's book is great for mindset. Basically, he wants to get you ready to expect the unexpected, more or less. He wants you to get ready for the hazards on the road, and he does a really good job of breaking that stuff out. It was a really good book, and it was very inexpensive. I want to say it was like less than $5 on the Kindle store, and even Moto-Jitsu's book was really inexpensive because I bought it on Kindle, and I don't think I paid more than $5 for that either. So both books were well worth the investment. Actually, I think I got more than my money's worth out of those books. Following up with Motorcycle Information Safety Systems, I bought Total Control by Lee Parks, and I'm actually still in the process of reading that book. It's considerably longer than the other two, and it is much more rich in terms of content. Lee Parks really gets into certain aspects of riding. Sometimes he gets a little too involved, and I find myself in way over my head and struggling to understand the information that he's trying to convey, especially when he gets into stuff like suspension setup and how the bike suspension actually works with physics. So I am more than halfway through that book. I've been kind of slacking in that regard. I haven't done a whole lot of reading lately. I've been enjoying the bike so much that really been neglecting the books. I am getting way off topic here, because the whole objective here was to talk about customer service, and here I am talking about books that I really enjoyed. Hopefully you've taken some good info out of that. I wanted to talk about customer service, and as it applies to motorcycle gear, and that was kind of the point that I was trying to get to in the beginning, but I have a tendency to ramble on and on. So anyway, to try to get back on topic, the thing I wanted to talk about was customer service as it applies to motorcycle gear. So I had mentioned that I expected gear to change dramatically after 10 years of being away from motorcycles, and that really is the case. The gear that I bought years ago, that I still have some of, but it's very dated, isn't nearly as nice or as feature rich as the gear I have today. So I started shopping for gear, and I really didn't know what to buy. When you start looking for motorcycle gear, you're just overwhelmed with options. You know, what type of helmet do I buy? You know, do I want a half helmet, 3/4 helmet, full face, dual sport? And then once you make that decision, then you need to figure out what features do you want in the helmet. Do you want standard DOT certificate? Do you want Snell rating? Do you want added security? You know, added safety? And the list goes on, and then you even go down as far as features. Do you want a helmet that's not going to be noisy? Do you want a helmet that has a flip-down visor? Do you want a helmet that's pin-lock ready? Do you want a helmet that has an anti-fog coating? And on and on and on. And you can understand how that could be very overwhelming for a new rider. So I wound up spending a lot of time researching different gear, and I settled on, and I shouldn't say I settled, I was really happy with the selection of my helmet, which is an HJC F70. It's a newer helmet that's designed to have the new smart HJC Bluetooth connectors, or Bluetooth communication system enabled. So it basically has pockets for the headphones, and it has wire management troughs cut into the EPS foam. It's kind of nice. I don't have a smart HJC system. I don't have any communication system at this point, but I wanted to almost be future-proof so that I could have one in the future if I so chose. So once I had a helmet selected, then I started looking for gloves, and while a glove should be pretty self-explanatory and pretty simple to select, again, you're bombarded with options, all the different styles, the types, the materials, the safety features, and I wound up going with Scorpion, what are they, SGS MK2s or something along those lines. So after I bought my gloves, then I moved on to a jacket, and again, tons of options, tons of features, and a huge assortment of prices. I wound up settling, again, I say that word when I don't really mean it. I'm pretty happy with my jacket. I didn't settle. But I struggled with a jacket because the fitment may have been an issue. You know, I'm in my late 30s, mid to late 30s. I've got a couple of kids. I've got a desk job. My waistline has expanded considerably from what it used to be. So I was a little bit concerned that I wouldn't fit into a sport style cut. I was afraid that it wouldn't be comfortable. So So I wound up reaching out to the gear geeks at Revzilla to try to get some input on sizing, because different brands fit a little bit differently. And they gave me some wonderful information, and as a result I bought an Icon Contra 2 perforated leather jacket, which I've been very, very pleased with. The only thing that I was left with after that purchase was, what do I do about riding pants? Again, same fitment issues, only compounded by the fact that riding pants don't have sizing options like jeans. So in a pair of jeans, you just go out and buy a 38 to a 40 with a 30-inch inseam, and it fits me great. If I get stuck with a 32-inch inseam, you know, I can make it work. It's usually not too long, and in the event that it is a bit long, you can always cuff it or hem it, you know, that sort of thing, have it altered, and it's really not that big of a deal. And I made the mistake of thinking that my riding pants would be very similar, in that it would just be no big deal. What I didn't realize was that the knee armor has a direct correlation with the inseam. So if the pants are too long, the knee armor will hang too low and will be completely ineffective. And that's the situation I found myself in, because I ordered a 2XL pants, so they were sized to fit a 38 to 41 inch waist, which would have been perfect. However, the inseam availability on that particular pant was 34, and in kind of a boneheaded move, I ordered those pants not thinking that the extra 4 inches would be a major problem. I thought that I could just make it work. I mean, after all, Icon sells American cut style clothing, which is a little more roomy for individuals such as myself, so I should be able to make that work, right? Well, I was wrong. The knee armor was like shin armor. It was ridiculously low, so low that the pants were absolutely unusable. So I had to initiate a return through Revzilla, and I was a little nervous about how that process was going to work. I'd never returned anything from them. I bought all of my gear from them, and I was very happy with the level of service that I've got, you know, both in ordering and dealing with the customer service, quote-unquote, gear geeks. So I initiated the return. I got some paperwork that was, I don't want to say it was marginally insulting, but it sort of a little was, you know, just in the verbiage. You know, we you know, don't abuse our return policy. We expect the gear to be returned in pristine condition, which it was. It was never worn on the bike, so it wasn't considered used, that sort of thing. But it just seemed like they were kind of beating me over the head with, it needs to be returned exactly how it arrived. And then there was some mention of almost like an estimate after the gear arrived to offset the loss in value if there was any damage or anything like that. And the way they were talking about having all the tags and the original packaging and stuff, it made me a little concerned. I mean, they shipped me these pants in a bag, in a shipping bag. I had to rip the bag open to get the pants. I really didn't know what to expect. So I got my return authorization. I printed the stuff out. I wound up shipping the pants back, and it was completely perfect. I mean, there were no issues. They accepted the return. They issued me a full refund, and that was fantastic. The problem was that I still needed a pair of riding pants, and the ones that I really wanted, the ones that matched my jacket, the ones that were loaded with features that I really liked, weren't available in my size. And when I reached back out to the Gear Geeks to try to find out what they might have that would work for me, I was really disappointed to find out that they had nothing. Basically, they responded to my email and said, you know, unfortunately we don't have anything in stock that fits your measurements, that sort of thing. And that was really disappointing, because here I was a die-hard Revzilla customer, and I still am. I don't want to knock them or anything for not having my size in stock. I mean, a lot of things seem to be going in and out of stock right now, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with COVID and the supply chain, and the fact that it is riding season in most, if not all, of the country. So I'm sure, motorcycle gear is selling like hotcakes right now. So I was left in a position where I had to look elsewhere, and I don't really like buying gear from Amazon. Not that there's anything wrong with buying from Amazon. I buy way more than I should from Amazon. Thousands of dollars. my Prime credit card can get kind of crazy every month. But I don't like, I just want to support a motorcycle company. I don't necessarily just want to buy something on Amazon. So I wasn't quite sure where to make my purchase. And that's when I remembered my old motorcycle gear, stuff that I bought years ago. I bought it from a company called New Enough. Now, I know the name implies that it's used stuff, but it really isn't. I'm not quite sure why the company was named that way. But I wound up buying a lot of stuff from them years ago. I bought my riding jacket from them, bought my gloves, bought gifts for family. I bought my father a riding jacket. I think I bought my brother a riding jacket from them. Bought a couple of tank bags from them. So it was a company that I dealt with years ago, and they had good service, but New Enough is no longer New Enough. They are now Motorcycle Gear. I don't know when that transition happened, if they were bought out, if they just changed their name. Whatever the cause for the change, I decided to give them a shot and see what they had available. And what I wound up selecting was a pair of Joe Rocket Ballistic Ultra. They make a 2XL short, so you can get the 38 to 41 inch waist, the same as the Contra 2. The difference is their inseam is 32 as opposed to 34. So I took a chance. I wound up ordering the pants. They were a little bit more expensive than the Icons that I ordered previously, and they arrived, and I'm actually wearing them right now. So the pants have some definite pros and cons. I don't really want to get into that right now. I will just tell you that they're a bit poofy, and I feel like I'm wearing snow pants with them. However, they offer some things that the Icon Contra 2 did not, in regards to three-season rideability. They come with both a waterproof liner and a thermal liner. So basically it's the pants and then two separate liners that you can put in the pants. You can kind of stack all three of them together if it's cold and wet, which is kind of nice. But they are much stiffer than the original pants that I bought, and they're missing a couple of niceties that the Icons had. So I'm pretty happy with the pants in general. No issues with them. No issues with them in terms of fit and finish, that sort of thing. They seem nice. The parts fit well. Like no weird zippers. However, there is a problem. So I got these pants and I took them out for the very first ride and I broke them. As I said, the pants are sized in such a way that they will fit a 38 to a 41 inch waist. And to do that, they add extra material around the waistband, and then they include like a Velcro secure system, which is basically a long strip of Velcro that loops around this plastic buckle and then sort of attaches back over itself. So you can pull the pants, you can pull up the slack and then lock the strap with the Velcro. Well, I put the pants on, I got on the bike, they felt like they were a little bit loose, so I cinched them, not making them super tight, but just making them a bit snug so that they wouldn't kind of ride down or slide around. And off I went. I started riding down the road, and I didn't get more than a couple hundred feet when I felt a pop on my hip. And it was definitely on me. It wasn't like a pop, like something happened with the bike. And my immediate thought was, oh no, my my phone and my keys are in my pocket. I hope I didn't pop the screen on my phone by, you know, wearing them in the pants. So I started panicking a little bit. So I pulled over, I checked my phone, it was fine, and I couldn't really tell what the problem was. Obviously, the damage hadn't occurred on the bike. Something happened. The pants didn't feel ripped. You know, it was a definite clear pop. It wasn't like a pop and a rip. So I didn't think I ripped the pants, but I couldn't really see anything wrong. So I got on the bike and I started riding some more. And it wasn't until I put the bike away, I took off my jacket. Now, you know, I parked the bike, took off my jacket, and then I heard something bounce off the garage floor. And I looked down and it was a little piece of plastic. So I bend down to pick it up, and I hear another thing hit the floor. It was another little piece of plastic. And here, what had happened was the plastic buckle that holds the Velcro strap had snapped, had just given way. Apparently, either I made it too tight or it was defective from the start. But either way, I lost my waist adjustment on the pants. I was pretty disappointed about that. Now, the pants, it's not like they're falling off of me. So, not having adjustment on one side isn't the end of the world. It's inconvenient. But I just figured I'd deal with it. So I reached out to Motorcycle Gear to see if there was some sort of replacement buckle available, because I really didn't want to have to ship the pants back and then be without riding pants for a couple of days while I waited for a replacement to arrive. It just seemed like a major inconvenience. I just thought, well, you know, it isn't ideal, but I'll just deal with it. It's not the end of the world. So I reached out to Motorcycle Gear. I explained the problem. I sent them a picture showing the buckle that was broken to clearly explain, you know, what had happened. And a couple of hours later, I get an email for a return authorization. And I thought, oh, this sucks. I really don't want to have to ship the pants back, because, you know, I bought the pants so that I would have safety gear on the bike. I don't want to go back to riding in regular jeans. And then immediately after, I got another email from Motorcycle Gear apologizing for the inconvenience, and they told me that they were sending me another pair of pants. They wanted to reduce the downtime in which I didn't have gear, so they were going to ship me a replacement, and then I could just ship the other one back whenever. And, well, not so much whenever, but, you know, quickly. But the idea was that these two items would cross in the mail, and it would minimize the time in which I wouldn't have proper safety gear. And I thought that was just really impressive on their part. You know, I really enjoy working with companies that have above average customer service. It makes the whole experience, you know, much better than it would normally. You know, I don't have any problems dealing with a faceless company that I never have to interact with. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that the objective? To be able to order things and never have to worry about it, never have to use customer service? It's those times when you do have to use customer service that it becomes a major priority, where it becomes very important. So I was thoroughly impressed with Motorcycle Gear's interest in keeping me safe and doing the right thing, basically, is what it boils down to. So I am hugely impressed by the response I got from Motorcycle Gear. And while I am a loyal Revzilla customer, I in no way have any issues or disappointments in ordering from Motorcycle Gear. They had the gear that I needed in the size that I needed, and they went above and beyond for customer service. So very pleased, very pleased, and would definitely recommend them. If you're out looking for gear for yourself, definitely give Motorcycle Gear a try. Their pricing was the same as Revzilla's, so it wasn't like I paid more. They just happened to have what I needed, and I do not regret the purchase one bit. So, I told you I was going to tell you a story. I wound up telling you probably more than one story all mixed in there. I know I get kind of long-winded and have a tendency to ramble. I apologize for that. Hopefully you'll come to appreciate that about me as you watch my channel more and more. But I don't want to keep you any longer than I already have, so thank you for watching this episode of WaltInPA, my own little personal motovlog. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. I need like a cool fancy outro, some music. That's not a good theme song. That's when you lose on The Price is Right. Childhood memories. I don't even know why I thought about that.